I know. I know. Before I get started, a lot of you that are watching this right now, so it's going to be in the month of September, but I want to thank everyone who wished me happy birthday early in the beginning of August. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. But there's been quite a few things going on with me. My father, he went under some heavy, intense surgery. That's been on my mind. Plus, I've been a little ill myself early on, and just with work, life, etc. And I appreciate all the concern. People have been asking around about the reviews, the videos, overall my thoughts on the chapters. People was asking me, what happened, but I kept people up to date. I really do appreciate that. Now, with this video right now, I'm gonna basically give my thoughts on all the chapters that I missed, from 638, 639 to 640. This whole Pernida and Mayuri Kuratsuchi fight. I'm gonna talk about what should happen, what should not have happened, my whole expectations, like just everything about this fight, because you already know some things I got to say about this. So without further ado, again, it's me, Captain Vazades. We live back, so you already know what it is, back to bring you, yes, this Bleach review, the 3-in-1. First thing first, Bleach chapter 638 up to 640. So far the momentum is good, pacing is good, full of action. I can honestly say this is the most weirdest Bleach fight I've ever seen throughout all of Bleach. I thought the weirdest thing was at first mass demasculine with James, that little cheerleader doughy midget mini-me thing. I thought that was the weirdest thing, and even, let's say, prior to that, Jerome, Star Knight art for the Roar, I believe that's what it is, shape-shifting, all these shape-shifting humans and these Quincy's. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Now we get to this Pernida, who we thought was a Star Knight. Technically, it is a Star Knight. I noticed a lot of people in forum sites are saying a she. Maybe I missed something. Please inform me down below in the comment section, but whatever. But this is an overall weird fight. Now, for you Mayuri Kuratsuchi fans, you're going to love this. Am I a fan of Mayuri Kuratsuchi? I do like his fights. He's not my favorite captain. He's not one of my favorites, but I'm not going to lie, I enjoy his fights. But Bleach chapter 638, action packed. We got to see more abilities of Pernida, with the nerves, he can go in and, anything, and just bring him to life. You see the hands came together, crushed Mayuri, but yet that armor, it just said it's detonated, it just exploded. You know what? I'm kind of glad it went away, because that thing looked stupid. He has some weird looks, but that one, I did not. That was my least favorite. But we see it was just armor. And no matter what, he comes prepared. When a motivator went click right on his heels, oh my God, this motivator just standing on the air using the Quincy technique, I'm like, damn, you know what? Just for a little bit when I read that, I forgot, like, oh yeah, they can't stand on air. But this motivator, of course, he comes prepared. I mean, even with the rearranging of the nerves and the muscles, everything. I mean, he had the explosive that blew off the pinky finger, went to take a sample. But then we see, of course, with the next chapter, the freaking, you blow off the fingers, it grows into another hand, So he's just taking in all this data, And that's the crazy thing. You see Pernida, it breaks off the other finger, and that grows into another hand, arm. So with 3 arms he has to take on. Now at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this has to end in a way it should not end. When things become predictable, in a sense, it's just not good. In a way it can be, in a way it just can't. I mean, there are some things you want to happen, and it seems like it's leading into that direction, and you're kind of hyped by yes because you want it to happen, But if it's going into a direction that you don't want to happen, it becomes predictable. It just looks like it's the overall bad thing. Because Mayuri Kuratsuchi always comes prepared, but yet it seems like so far he became prepared in terms of defensive capabilities. Like when he failed, he went to extend his arm. You know, we haven't seen that since the beginning of this fight. You know, with extend the arm. I forget the name of the technique. That's actually a name for it. Forgive me for that. And you see how he just stand on air, the Quincy technique, and he just has these liquids and explosives. He came prepared. And then we see, of course, when Pranada broke off the finger, the blood got into the eye. And he said it hurts, it got into the eye. That was weird too. But what killed me, when Mayuri said, oh, I see it, he actually had a flashback of when he read about it in the textbooks. I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is starting to seem too convenient. This when I was starting to get worried about this whole battle. I'm like, okay. It's one thing he became prepared, defensive capabilities, being able to stand on air, got the explosive armor, extending his arm, etc. But now all of a sudden now there was data on the Spirit King now in these textbooks. Is maybe that's how Aizen and Urahara knew about the Soul King, you know? Maybe that's why they knew to call it it. Because they were reading about it and was like, damn, this thing, you know, this entity is not a Soul Reaper. This not a Quincy either. Like, this is the it. And of course, Mayuri did say it's one thing to read about it in textbooks to gain knowledge, but you can't really, you know, depend on it unless you experience it yourself. And at this point in time, the Bunkai. The new Bunkai. Well, no, let me rephrase it. It's not a new Bunkai. It's a modified, upgraded Bunkai. When they showed this thing, this big-ass, sloppy jalopy of a Bunkai, just sitting there, just, you know, you got the horns coming out the side of here with the lamps, with the kanji writings on the stomach. You see it stitched up. And he said it pushes out Ajijoji, like, the Ajijoji Chichos, my dad lists. It pushes those out. It pushes out, you know, his original form of the Bunkai. You know, and it's based off the data he sends to it. So out of all the data he was collecting throughout this battle, things he was finding out about Pranada, etc., that was implemented into the Bunkai. So now with the Bunkai coming out, the belly that busts out, you see it's just so grotesque and graphic. I can only imagine when this is animated, they may try to censor this, but whatever. It ate the arms. It ate the arms. It tried to use the ability with the nerves, but that didn't work. That didn't work at all. Now, when it ate Pranada, I was thinking to myself, I know good and damn well, this better not be it. This cannot be it. This is the arm of the left arm of the Soul King, alright? I refuse to believe, yes, Mayuri, you can say he's strong, he comes prepared, equipped or whatnot. He has the knowledge, the science on his side. But this is the left hand, the left arm of the Soul King. You mean to tell me he just beat it like that? This Star Knight see the composure. He was just the left arm of the Soul King. He was one of the elite guards of Juha. I was thinking to myself, please, Kubo, do not let this be the end of the fight, because I was going to be hella pissed. Why? Because it just seemed like lather, rinse, repeat. A lot of times throughout series, some would even say with Bleach, there are times where some of the battles can seem like a copy and paste, or they just seem so convenient. It just seemed too scripted. Yes, he did say in the interview he already had the rest of his arc planned out. Alright? But in any type of story writing, you have to switch it up. You have to. Because that's what really made me like this battle at first, you know, where I'm thinking like, okay, he is now fighting an opponent he has no data on. All the other times he was in those battles, he had data on his opponents, you know, thus giving him an advantage against his enemy. But I'm like, that's not the case in this situation. So I'm thinking like, what is Mayuri going to do now? You know, this ain't checkers, this is chess. He didn't have time to prep and get ready and do all this research and do, but apparently, you know, to a degree, he came prepared. You know, especially with the textbooks. Like, oh man, y'all gonna put that in there? That's the other thing that, whatever. But thank God, yes, it did not kill Pernida. Because, you know, he didn't even modify with teeth because he didn't want it to crunch it up and then it make even more. But he swallowed it. I mean, you know, the Bunkai swallowed it. And one thing I noticed, once the left arm of the Spirit King, you know, broke out, you know, you see just blood come out the nose of his Bunkai, the whole eye went popping out. I mean, it was just very grotesque. Alright. It came down to it to where this thing, the way it started talking more fluently, you know, Mayuri started to notice, like, he started to question, okay, is it evolving, or is it the fact that it's recovering its memories of when it was attached to the Soul King, you know? And he was saying, like, look, I am a Quincy. Regardless of what you say, I am a Quincy. And we've seen, of course, the way he broke, after he broke out of his Bunkai, he shot the giant arrow. He had a big arrow. And to be honest, I did not expect this thing to have a bow and arrow. You know, maybe if this thing wasn't the left arm of the Soul King, and it just was just another human with just mysterious powers granted from Juha, I would expect that. But the actual hand of the left hand of the Soul King actually have a bow and arrow. I did not expect that. But then again, someone said, well, it makes sense because this is the father of Juha. Juha is the first Quincy, and so he had to get his Quincy powers from his father. Thus, his father is the real originator of the Quincy. Some would think that, but his bow just looks very simple. Very just a regular bow and arrow. You would think it'll look more just angelic, like a big imperial angelic type of bow. Just more, just to show the status that I was a part of the Soul King. I am the Soul King. I am the Quincy. You know, this is my bow and arrow, okay? You know, but whatever. This is my thing. When that thing shot the fingers grew back, and it shot five arrows at Mayuri, and you see the nerves are still connected. They're still connected. And you know, Yumachika and Ikaku, they were seen all throughout the chapters, you know, and they're just sitting there watching. I was surprised they didn't just leave, but you know, Kenpachi was still in the vicinity. I guess they didn't want to abandon their captain, even though they are just powerless in this situation. As the nerve went by, the arrow went by, you know, the nerve latched onto Mayuri's arm. Mayuri's arm, he got rid of it. That's yet another arm that's going in Bleach. And then once the arrows hit the ground, you know, the nerves can grab the arrow and bend the arrow and shoot it right back. It was geared to hit him. And then here comes Nemu. She grabs the arrow, of course, and by grabbing the arrow with the nerves attached, she knew that it was going to grind up her arm. She cuts off her arm. With her Zanpato, mind you. I think that's her Zanpato. It's kind of up in the air if that's her Zanpato or not. But I believe it's a possibility. And Mayuri grabs her, throws her, because if she would have failed, she would have failed in the nerves and she would have got grinded up. So he was basically telling her, who told you to act? You know, I did not give you orders to, you know, risk your life. You know, I didn't give you orders to save me whatsoever. What made you do it? She said, I don't know. And he was thinking like, damn, so all of a sudden, you know, you have a will of your own now? Like, when did you learn this? And, you know, he's just puzzled by it. And we noticed in the beginning of chapter 640 that there was a flashback. You know, you can see it looks like the creation or birth of Nemu. You know, the other one. I don't know if there. I'm guessing there are numerous amounts of Nemus. I could be wrong, but he was telling Nemu basically it would be trouble to raise the next one how I raised you. You know, and it's thinking, okay, is this his daughter? Is this not his daughter? What the hell is going on? And to be honest, when it was basically, this is hinted that the death flag is being raised. Why? A flashback is coming. Someone is gonna die. This what needs to happen, Kubo. This what needs to happen have an impactful death that no one would not expect. Alright? It's one thing to have a death you didn't expect, but it's one thing to have an impactful death. I believe the death of Mayuri will surprise a lot of fans, including me. I would like it though. And it will be more impactful than Nemu dying. Because to be honest, who really likes Nemu? She's just like a mute. They rarely show her. You know, now that it looks like it's gonna be touched upon her past, it was like a reminder, like, oh yeah, that's right, Nemu. Like, you know, it's like when I see her, I'm never getting that itch, like, man, I wonder what's her history. But since I love Bleach, I don't mind, you know, seeing the past of all the characters, even characters I don't care about, like Soy phones lieutenant. Oh my, whatever. But or freaking mask demasculine. Even though I would love to see the recruitment process of all the Star Knights. Same thing with the Espada. We still have never. I don't think we ever will see the full recruitment process of the Espada. Yeah, we get an eyes went to them. They have a proposition. Come join me. I can make you stronger. The end. We know that's how it went, but each one had their own. You know, it was probably just their own scenario and setup with it. So that's my whole thing about it. But the Nemu thing, now that some things will be revealed, I am interested to see, but to be honest, she's just a character. She doesn't do anything. So she's easily forgettable. She really is. And if she dies, I'm not going to feel nothing. I'm not going to be like, or just, like, damn, ain't that about a bitch? I'm not. Not if Mayuri dies. You know, what's going to make it more on the edge of your seat type of but it's just the fact that if he dies, you have the left arm of the Soul King. Now he's gonna where he's gonna go next, you know. And it's crazy that Jura knew about this. He knew that there was the left arm, and for some way, or how, Pernida or Jura, they just compressed it to this short, you know, just to the hand, you know. And he still put Hashwoth in, you know, as the head honcho in charge, which, you know, under Jura, of course. Then he chose Uryu as the successor, of course, because he survived the Holy Selection, you know, even though he was a mixed breed. But, you know, Impure Quincy. But overall, non-stop action. And this is good, because I like Mayuri fights. I like that he's losing. I like that he really can't do anything to defeat him. He blew off fingers. They grew back. He used a new updated Bunkai. Nothing. He can't slash it. I mean, he didn't try to slash to paralyze it, but so right now it's not looking good for Nemu or Mayuri, and I'm loving it. I'm really liking the fact that it's not looking good. They need to die, okay? So overall, at least, that's my thoughts about the chapters as a whole. Tell me what you were thinking so far. Do you want Nemu to die, or do you want Mayuri to die? And if those two die, who do you think will stop the left arm of the Soul King? Or will it just try to find its way somewhere? And I mean, this is crazy. So basically, this is the one thing that's still around of the Soul King. You know, Soul King has been absorbed, so this is just, the hand is just out and about. But whatever. Yeah, that's it, elites. Thank you all for the comments and concerns, everything. I apologize for the wait. You know, life happens. One thing I like about all my elites, my fans, my viewers, and my subscribers, that you understand that type of thing. And so I will see you with the next Bleach chapter review, Bleach chapter 641. It's me, Captain Vibes with Ace, signing out.